government to provide for development of sports in the state, but this is a duty that when you look at the numbers of people in the state, the government alone can't do this alone, and the support of the private sector is very important for the continued development of sports. Here in Lagos, I mean, one needs to look at the facilities the government has put in place. The government is developing a lot of infrastructure all over various areas in the state to enable sports get to all the various locations in the state. But it's also important to utilize these facilities by creating competitions for the young school children and adults who participate in sports, even for recreational purposes, and this is where the private sector comes in. We've done a lot of work over the last 10 years, the administration preceding this and this administration, in bringing the private sector on board, and we're very pleased with the results, and that is one of the reasons why Lagos State currently is the #1 place in Nigeria for sports events in Nigeria.
There is no denying the fact that sports is a unifying force among Nigerians and indeed Lagosians, irrespective of their religious, ethnic, and political leanings. It is also an incontrovertible fact that sports is a veritable tool for youth development, just as it is true that a virile youth is the bedrock of national development and integration. These facts have necessitated the continuous investment of huge resources in youth and sports development by the present administration under the leadership of the sports-loving governor, Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN, who has always viewed youth and sports development as a catalyst for change and necessary platform for local and foreign integration. The state government, in order to properly harness the potentials of youths, has continued to develop sports and recreational facilities across the state. In this respect, the popular Campus Square on Lagos Island, which was donated to the colonial administration by late Pa Hilario Campus and was then known as Ajele Playing Ground, has been transformed into a mini stadium with a seating capacity of 5,000, a multi-purpose hall, FIFA 2 artificial turf, administrative offices, and equipment stores. The Agege Stadium has been upgraded in the fashion of Teslim Balogun Stadium in terms of standard track and seating capacity of 15,000. These facilities were showcased when Lagos State hosted the 2012 National Sports Festival. Sports competitions such as the rejuvenated Principals Cup among secondary schools in the state.
Mustafa is well onside, and he takes his time, looks at it, and just places the ball exactly where he wants, and that is a superb pass. And he just looks up, finds the goalkeeper closing his near side, and just places it on the far side. Great goal there by Mustafa Abel.
Team that won the women's final, talking about the cartoon, they have their fans there, but those are the victorious team in the boys final of the Principals Cup in Lagos State in 2013. Oh, what a victory for them. They played so well. They've scored goals upon goals. The first goal was scored by Soje Richard. The second goal was scored by Kinola Sampson. He actually scored twice in that match. He also scored the fourth goal of the match. The third goal was scored by Mustafa Abel, a beauty of a goal. And of course the fifth goal was scored by Latif and Imasham. What a match for them. What victory for them. And they've done really well. This celebration will go beyond the Teslim Balogun Stadium. It will get to
the School Sports Festival, the State Sports Festival, the Under-13 Soccer Championship, Under-15 Swimming Competition, Falilat Ogunkoya 400 meters meet, Lawn Tennis Governors Cup, the International Squash Racket Competition, MTN Street Soccer, Obas Cup in football, amongst others, were not only put in place but equally made attractive in order to ensure that youths channel their youthful energy into productive ventures. Given the paucity of funds for various competing interests, the state government has gone ahead to promote public-private partnership for sustainable development of both human and material resources. This is not different in the area of sports, as the government, in collaboration with private organizations, now support and sponsor such tournaments. like the maiden Lagos Table Tennis Classic. This has engendered the listing of Nigeria for the International Table Tennis Federation Junior Championship in Morocco.
Like it is in the rest of the world, sports is actually a business. And for you to achieve the best in terms of sports development, there is no way you can do that outside of the private sector. If you go to the developed countries, you will find out that there is minimal government funding in terms of sports. Most of what they do is either raising funds through the private sector or getting companies to sponsor particular events. But for us in Lagos State, or let me say for us in Nigeria, that has not really been the case. But we have been working to ensure that we change that round. When it comes to sports, government cannot do everything. And if we do not involve the private sector in sports development, then it means we will not be able to operate at the level we should be operating in. And that's something that we're really tackling here at the Lagos State Sports Council, to bring the private sector into what we're doing in terms of sports development.
Public, government, private companies, and they come together to make sure things go well when it comes to sports development. We have so many of them in Lagos State, and Lagos State is embracing so many companies. The likes of the MTN, they've been with us for the past 6 years. So many of them, the likes of the Orange Drugs, they're into football. We have the DSTV for the basketball, and so many other in sports. Government cannot do it alone. It's not possible. That is the more reason why the government has opened up its hand to embrace all these companies, to come to their aid, to make sure sports, particularly games that has to do with the public, is taken to the next level.
Other sports competitions initiated by the state government or in partnerships with the private sector to productively engage the youths include beach soccer, the Sydney Bialosa Foundation, its resuscitation of athletics, and the Lagos International Youth Under-17 team in football. Other public-private partnership collaborations include MTN Lagos Street Soccer Championship, which has entered the 6th edition, recently ended with its winners visiting foreign countries on training tours, while the winners of the edition actually watched the final match between the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria and Argentine team in the FIFA Junior World Cup at Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates.
Exactly, for the deputy governor, as the winner is from that is the deputy governor.
This competition was fully sponsored by MTN Nigeria. The Extra Just Football Journey, which entered Season 2 in 2013, the first Lucozade Sports Lagos City Run, where 1,500 participants took part, are examples of other PPP-sponsored competitions. The 45th edition of Ashujuoba Table Tennis Cup, at which medals rose from 17 to 20, also gave out 2 brand new cars to winners, with His Excellency Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN in attendance at the finals. Suffice it to say that under the public-private partnership program of the state, the Lagos Amateur Boxing Association also hosted the state's boxing team on an invitational tournament of the Sir Henry Cooper Boxing Tournament, at which the Lagos Boxing Hall of Fame, the LBHF, a private non-governmental organization, was invited for 8 weight category bouts in London. This invitation provided the platform for Lagos State to be the first in West Africa, apart from the continental and global competition, to sponsor boxers abroad for a competition.
Presenting and introducing the competitor on my right, boxing out of the red corner, representing London, Valerine Spicer. Across the ring and boxing out of the blue corner, and representing Lagos, Nike Salami. 4 rounds of boxing.
Dude, some of these kids are like
majority decision. Nikkei Salami in the blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to show your appreciation for Valerie Sticer from London.
In terms of intergovernmental collaboration, Lagos State, the center of excellence, has become the trailblazer in all spheres of human development and collaboration. This was manifested in sports vis-a-vis the hosting of the Federation Cup in soccer in collaboration with the federal agency in the last two editions of the championship.
This is an area where we continue to grow using, of course, all the infrastructure government has. If you look at the staging of an event, you realize that there are many things that need to be done, from security to traffic control, and this is where the partnership between various MDAs in government comes in, from the Ministry of Special Duties, Ministry of Health, LASMA, the Traffic Control Agency, LOMA, the Cleaning Agency. All these people come together for every event we have, and this is what has made our events so secure. We've created a template whereby all these agencies of government, the fire brigade, everybody is there on hand to assist and lend the necessary support, ambulance services. So I think this is one of the areas where we've made massive amounts of progress, and we continue to collaborate with the Ministry of Education and all the MDAs in government that are needed for this event, especially considering that the focus of this government is on grassroots sports development, which of course necessitates using the thousands of schools that we have in Lagos. So I think it's a good partnership we've set, and the template is working very, very well.
The state also participated in the 6th National School Sports Festival in Ilorin, Kwara State from the 24th to 30th of November of 2013. Also, with the cooperation of the Federal Institute of Industrial Research in Oshodi, Firo, in providing logistics for the Research Institute Games Association of Nigeria, Regan Games, which took place from the 6th to 16th December of 2013, is another example that Lagos State is well on our way to achieving the Millennium Development Goals 2020 program in the areas of sports, vis-a-vis, health, economy, and tourism.
I think at the back of our minds in everything we do, we need to tie this into the policy of government. And the Millennium Development Goals are things that are measurable achievements of this government, and we use sports as a driver for this. One of the major areas I think we've succeeded very well is in creating a new sports tourism in Lagos, from hosting the National Sports Festival to the International Sports Classics. All these various events bring people from outside the state, and you have to understand that every time people come into the state for these events, it creates an economy in itself, especially now around the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Agege Stadium. There's a lot of business going on, trading, the hotels when people come for events, the shops, people shop, people buy goods. And this economy is something we're working with the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget to capture the actual figures we're looking at. But from what we've seen from the festival, the legacy of the festival still lives on, in that we continue to do these events and people come out, and that is one of the major areas in which we're working to achieve the MDGs of this government.
In sports, active participation by the international community in all of the 10 sports of the Lagos International Sports Classics has greatly enhanced the stature of the state in sports development and its management. It brought in tourists and athletes from foreign countries, which improved our match day economics and generally engendered more citizens' participation in sports, as this helps in improving the economy and health of the populace. For example, Season 6 of the MTN Lagos Street Soccer Championship generated more participants with the introduction of the under-15 category to catch them young. In the same vein, the Lagos Governors Tennis Cup also attracted more participants with the introduction of the wheelchair and junior events in the competition. participation of 128 teams in the extra just football tourney, an increment from last year's participating teams, as well as the first Lucozade Sports Lagos City Fun Run with 1,500 participants, as the Lagos International Basketball Classic also attracted foreign participation. The state government has also established youth centers with recreation, sports and relaxation facilities at Imota, Moson-Okunola, Oriade, Badagry West, Ibeju, Oto-Awori, Mushin, and Ijede local council development areas. For the efficient restructuring of sports in Lagos so as to enhance continuous efficient and effective performance at its state sports council, the umbrella body for the 36 sports associations, a new director of sports with vast experience in the administration of sports was appointed in the person of Dr. Kweku Adedayo Tando.
In terms of restructuring of sports in Lagos State, I can say that I don't need to start that process because that process has already been ongoing. The Honorable Commissioner has embarked on a restructuring of not just sports but sports administration and also the other aspects of development of infrastructure and all that. You recall that 2012 we had the ECO 2012 National Sports Festival, and it gave Lagos State an opportunity to revamp its infrastructure. And that having been done, the focus has now shifted to capacity building. We need to build capacity of our administrators. We need to build capacity of our coaches. We need to build capacity of those that are involved in running sports. And that process is already ongoing. And it is evident in Lagos that there has been a restructuring, not just of sports competitions, but even increasing awareness among schools about participation in sports. We are embarking on a drive now to draw in the private schools to work with us in terms of sports development. The foundation of any sports developmental program is in the school system, and we are working together with the Ministry of Education, and there are programs in place that make us work together, like the National School Sports Federation Games, the National Youth Games. These are all school-based games. So there is an intensified effort to involve the school system in our sports development. And if we get this right, I believe that we will make progress.
His Excellency, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola's promise of scholarship to medal-winning athletes who represented the state at the 18th National Sports Festival and those athletes who were still in school was fulfilled with a check presentation ceremony to the beneficiaries at the Bagauda Kautho Press Center. A total of 4 million naira was doled out to 23 deserving athletes. The government prides itself with possessing the best workforce in the country. It has not rested on its oars and has continued to train and retrain its staff. Towards this end, over 100 members of staff in the Office of the Sports Council, and other agencies under the ministry have benefited from various training programs to enhance their effectiveness and efficiency. Years back, the saying was that sports was for the ne'er-do-wells. Time has, however, proved that sports can be used for many more positive reasons, like national integration, youth employment, building the spirits of fairness among competitors and the general citizenry, economic development, development of talent, state, national and international pride in the Committee of Nations are among other numerous opportunities available through sports.
ECO 2012 has shown that we can channel our sporting energy and resources to inspire friendship, raise the profile of sports, and create mutual understanding and collaboration. The festival has indeed reaffirmed our unity in diversity, strength and oneness as a great country. We have been able to make a big statement about the power of sport to promote social progress and amplify our common humanity to a new level. We appreciate all the athletes and officials of this game for keeping by the rule and the spirit of sportsmanship, fair play which was displayed throughout the duration of the games. We thank those who have remained humble in victory and cheerful in defeat. There is no doubt that this is just the beginning of the greater things that will happen in this sector, as we have continued to promote, encourage, motivate, and inspire our young sport talents for the sporting activity in Nigeria.
As a way of ensuring ceaseless funding for sports development, the administration has set up a sports endowment fund to ensure availability of funds all year round in the spirit of public-private sector participation.
Well, the Sports Endowment Fund, I think last year we relaunched the Sports Endowment Fund, wherein the goals of the fund itself, the body itself, were restated to the public, and we did very well in people donating to this fund. This fund is not just for government to spend, it's to spend in a particular area for sports development, development of infrastructure for sporting facilities, and various ancillary things like that that will continue to benefit our young athletes generally. Currently, the fund is all, the law that set up the fund is also being looked at with a view to revising one or two things that will make it operate in a better and more progressive manner. But generally, I think they did very well last year. They've started raising funds, and I think before the end of this year, we'll see these funds going out to worthy causes in sports and will to help us develop our sports.
The enormous investment in sports by the Governor Babatunde Raji-Fashola administration, therefore, is a platform of opportunities provided to ensure that youths have well-rounded development. This will make them fit for a leadership position when their time comes. All great nations of the world have been transformed, not just by mineral resources and other such natural endowments, but by the resourcefulness of its citizenry. No doubt, the commitment of the present administration to the development of youths in Lagos State cannot be overemphasized. The administration has proven over time that governance is not just about providing infrastructure, security, amongst others, but governance is about investing in people and investing in the future.